Hey, here is proof that Mrs. Garwood loves me. I love turtles. It's got chocolate, it's got caramel, it's got some peanut stuff in there. Deep dark down inside this is some health food. Not really, but I sure love them. Anyway, we are getting ready for our second installment of How Does He Do That? So, what we're going to do in this episode is we've taken our melody. I'm going to show you how I'm going to use the rules of writing a Cantus Firmus, and you're going to see me encounter some problems and how I resolved it. And I'm going to write a cantus and a what's called a first species counterpoint to this cantus to use with the melody. Now, here's what's really cool. I don't pay a lot of attention to the melody when I'm writing this, and there's one occasion where I did, but for the most part, the cantus will write itself if you follow the few simple rules. So pay attention, have fun. I'm going to eat my turtle while we discover how does he do that? Okay, how did I do that? Well, this is another installment in how does he do that? I'm going to be working with a hymn. This is my father's house, or this is my father's world. And I'm starting with the melody, and I'm going to let you hear the melody for a second. Excellent. Now, oh, I'm sorry, there we go. What we're going to do is I am going to demonstrate how I'd write some accompaniment parts for this, and I'm going to utilize principles that we have talked about and covered in writing Cantus Firma and Species 1 Counterpoint, and I'm going to use principles of this stuff and apply it to a known melody. Up till now, what I've been doing is just writing my own Cantus Firma and writing a melody and uh, doing new stuff, original stuff. What we're going to be doing here is I'm going to take a known melody and I'm going to use these principles that we've learned to write a counterpart for it. Now, what I did is I've started off by writing a counterpoint. I'm going to click it here and put it in. This is the first Cantus Firmus that I wrote for this. Now, first rule is start on a C. And what I did, the other thing I did before I go any further, this is a fairly long melody. I split this melody up into 8 measure sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I put a double bar. I'm going to treat this 8-bar section like its own Cantus Firmus. So I'm not having to worry about really long sections. I'm going to split it into 2 usable chunks, and it's really easy to write. So first we started on a C. I end on a C, right? Now, the last note is a C. I can precede the last note with a note a half step below or a full step above. I chose a half step below. Why? No reason. I just like it. So we did that. And now this B, which I just played for you there, it can be approached from as far away as a third. So I could have approached it with a G, an A, a C, or a D. I chose an A. So now I've got the last 3 notes, A, there, and then I have my beginning note. Now let's take a look at this. Beginning note is a C. I skipped down to a G. Why? Because I could. And also I'm looking at the melody note, the C. I wouldn't want to come to a B because that would clash against a C. So I mean I'm writing my cantus with the melody in mind. So I came to a G. G works good against a C. I skipped down from a C to a G, so I have to move backwards in the opposite direction, if you will, by step, and I did. There you go. And I skipped down to a third, right? down, skip, go up by step, G. Now, I've got my last three notes, but I end up with an F, an F, G, A, B, C. Now, according to the rules of Cantus Firma, that's a little bit too much singular linear motion without any breaking it up by skip. So I got to break this up a section here. We know that I've decided C is it, B is it. So what I'm going to do is, instead of an A, what if I went up to a C here? I got F, G, skip up to a C, come back by step, and then finish. Oh, that's kind of good actually. So let's see what this sounds like now, which is these parts. Here we are. I'm liking it. Now let's go to our second voice. Put it in the violas. Here is the when your counterpoint part is in the lower voice, you have an option. It can be an octave or a fifth. So I think I'm going to start on the fifth. Well, we're in the key of C, so that means I'm going to do a G. So let's see here. There's a G. I don't want my voices to cross though. So I guess I'm going to start down here. Because see, see how the violin, second violin part is on a G right there? I'm going to start here in C. That's good. And I'm just going to come up C, go up to E, skip up a third. That means I have to come back down to a D. See, I skipped up from a C, went from a C to an E, skipped up, so you got to come backwards, opposite, D. Now I'm going to keep this D for this measure because if I moved up, I'd start banging against that F, and I don't want that. I don't want that. So, so I kept this, tied it over, and now I'm going to go stepwise down to a C, which is good because it's counter motion. See how we went from F to G, C. All right. And let's stop right there. Let's come down to the last note. The last note, I got to end up on a C, so I will. Now, I'm kind of constrained by the rules of Cantus Firma by saying, that says, if one voice approaches a tonic by a half step below, like the B to a C, then the other voice has to approach the tonic from a step above, from a D to a C. So there's C, there's D. And what if I did, let's see here, let's see what we've got, C, D, C. What if I went, see now I'm starting to have a problem here. What if I go to, I want to go to, if I just went to blah, 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 blah. If I, let's see what happens if I kept this C here. It doesn't make it a very interesting line by itself, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Let's see what it sounds like. Let me do this. Here we are. Okay, I kind of like it, but I still don't like this here, right here. So we got to figure something out for that. But so let's come back. What if I did B, a D there, and made this a B? Now that means I have to come back and change this. It's C to D. See if anything else has to change. No? Well, A. If I change that note to an A, F, G, A jumps up to the D. All right, that works. Skip up, come down. Now, right there, we skipped up from A to a D, back a step to B, C. And let's do this. C, B, B to C. That means I can make this note a D. what if C, D, B, C? All right, let's do that. D, oops, my bad. D, get rid of this guy. That was an accident. What am I doing here? There we go. Get rid of this guy. We wanted to change this to a D. Now let's hear what this sounds like. Right away, it's ugly. Why? I've got parallel fifths. I got a C and a G to a D to an A. So that can't be right. So if I went C to an F, that went down to a B. Oh, can't do that. So what if I did, we did an F there, but what if I did D, E, F? Let's see what that sounds like. Good, except that F to B is bad. So what if we did, let's just leave that right now. All right, let's stop. And I'm going to do another installment where I show you now how to fix this up with some parts.